Let's learn how to ground an agent's response with contextual knowledge using storage buckets. You'll build an employee support agent, which, based on the user input, identifies the problem and the corresponding support group where a ticket needs to be created, thereby helping the user with issue resolution. In Studio Web, click here and select Agent. Rename the solution to Employee Support Agent Solution. Similarly, rename the agent to Employee Support Agent. Copy the provided system prompt from the relevant file and add it to this section. The agent must first correctly identify a problem and then, based on the problem, identify the appropriate support group. The support group will be selected from a CSV file, which will act as the context for this agent. You'll be using the support group CSV file provided with this demonstration. Post the tasks, you have the behavioral rules which the agent should follow. The end user will provide their problem as input to the agent. For that, create an input argument which will store the user's name, and another input argument to store the user's message. Make them mandatory, and provide appropriate descriptions for both. Once the input arguments are created, copy the user prompt from the relevant file and add it to the user prompt section. Observe that the agent has 4 potential responses. First is the response to a greeting. Then, if the message contains a topic but not a clear problem, the agent should respond by asking for more details. If a valid service topic and a clear action is identified, the agent responds by creating a ticket for the correct support group. Lastly, if a problem is identified but not a specific support group, the agent will inform the user that their request may not be within the scope of its training. Next, you need to add the context. In this case, it's the support group CSV file containing the topics, services, and the appropriate support group. The agent will use this file to identify the correct support group. This file will be added to a storage bucket. The process of doing that is quite simple. To begin, navigate to UiPath Orchestrator and under Storage Buckets, select Create a new storage bucket. Mention the name, description, and click on Add. Inside this bucket, you need to upload the provided support group CSV file. So, click on the newly created storage bucket and upload the CSV file to it. Now for the agent to utilize this file, an index must be created. So go to Indexes and select Add a new index. Provide a name for the index, say Support Group Index. Select the data source as Storage Bucket. Choose the respective orchestrator folder, followed by selecting the newly created storage bucket. It is possible to restrict based on file type, but this is not necessary for this project. Once the index is created, wait for it to sync with the storage bucket and pick up all the necessary files. This process should take a few seconds. Next, return to the agent and add this context to it. It is recommended to add a description for the context component. With everything set, it's time to test your agent. You have an input text file that contains a couple of inputs against which the agent can be tested. Copy and paste the name and message and run the agent. Upon successful completion, you can see that the agent has correctly identified the problem and the appropriate support group to create a ticket. Another test can be run to see how the agent responds to a problem where a support group may not be available. To test this, make use of the other input. Here you can see that the agent does not have a specific support group for certain issues, such as SAP, and thus it asks for further clarification. This response is synonymous with the 4th response part of the user prompt. Thanks for watching.